Hey everyone, Caront here, welcoming you to the 100 subscriber Q&A special. Woohoo! First off, I just finished actually recording my streaming of Breath of Fire 4. We beat the game last night. Whew, it was quite an experience. I didn't think it was going to go nearly as long as it did, but it was a lot of fun. If you guys want to watch it now, it's over at Twitch on my Twitch page on, I think, past broadcasts, something like that. I'm not sure exactly how all of that works, but you can go to my profile and see it there. Or eventually, of course, I'll carve it up. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to carve it up, but I'll carve it up, put it on YouTube, so it'll be there as well. All right, now, of course, you guys are here for the questions, and I got several good ones, so thank you, all of you who did give me questions. And, well, I serve to answer them now. What I'm likely going to do with this is go ahead and record all the questions just straight up, and then split this up into two videos. I think I want to record the basically helping my helpers or supporting my supporters video separately because I want to be able to get all the folks that I'm going to be, I guess, advertising for and get a sense of what they are doing if I don't have it already so that I can give you guys good shout outs because you deserve them. And I want to make sure that I do as good a job as possible in doing that. So, all right, yeah, let's get ready. First question. I'm going to do the personal questions first. Then I'm going to do the gaming, let's playing type questions second. And I will split the video up, of course, accordingly. Personal questions starting with the question from Alan Bakuth. I never have pronounced that right. I'll just go with Alan. But he is one of my streamers that's been watching from way off across the pond. And he asks, if you were to have an organ or a limb magically added to your body, what would you like it to be? Okay, well, I will say first off, on the limb standpoint, if I had a choice, I would want to choose two actually, because I want to go Goro on everybody. Have four arms, just so I can say, ah! And I don't know if necessarily I'll be popping up and fighting Liu Kang or anybody like that. But if I want to go limb, I would want to go two more arms, just because one arm would be kind of weird. So I would go two. Organ wise, that one's a little bit tougher. My first instinct would be to go give me another brain, but I'm not sure I could handle two, I don't know, two sets of thought at once. So what I would likely go with probably would be to go with another lung, I suppose. Give me some better cardiovascular capacity. Granted, that's the sort of thing I need to earn myself too, but more cardio capacity would get me better in terms of running because I am a long distance runner, although, well, I've not been doing all that great of that at late. But that is one of the things I do. So another lung I think would help out with that. So that I think would be my main choice in that respect. Either another lung or another heart, both would do fine. Okay, next question. Actually, two people pretty much asked the same question. Both KPA, who has been following me since Wild Arms, and Coolican Dragoon, the longer form, one of the Let's Play Sanctuary folks who's been following me for quite some time. They both ask, has anyone in my real life recognized me in terms of my Let's Plays? And the answer, in short, is no. The longer answer, since, well, okay, I don't know if you guys can hear the bells dinging. It's just hit about 2:15 here. But the longer answer, I think I've mentioned this once or twice, but there are only two people that know me that know that I do this. One of them is one of my sisters, the younger of the two sisters, who's much more of a gamer. The older of the two sisters is very much not. And my best friend, who actually is one of my subscribers. Those are the only two people in my life who know that I do this. So they know, but they did not recognize me from watching my videos and then going, holy crap, that's me, and then saying, hey, you goofus, that's you. I told them what I was doing, and so one of my best friend watches me occasionally when he gets the chance, and my sister, I don't think she does, but those are the two that know that I do this, and they didn't actually recognize me from the videos, so no. Okay, third question is from Rochambeau89, who is one of my more recent subscribers. He asks, what history do I teach? Well, as many of you know, I am a history teacher. If you didn't know, then surprise, now you know. I teach actually two different histories over at the community college where I am. Primarily, I teach Western Civ. That is, well, the way that I like to put it sort of colloquially is we take the world map, we slice it off at right about the Ural Mountains and let East Asia and everything just float into the nether sphere. Because Western Civ does not teach much East Asia. I sneak some in because I want to, but up until about 17, 1800, we don't teach Asia at all. Not particularly sure why, but that's the way they have it. I also teach American history. I've only taught the second semester of American history, so pretty much anything after Civil War, I'm your guy. Anything before the Civil War, I would need to read up on so I could actually know what the heck I'm talking about. Well, know it better, I should say. But that's what I teach. As far as tutoring, and I know Rochambeau, you didn't ask about tutoring, but I'll fill you in on that too. I tutor primarily world history because that's the third of my three jobs. I tutor world history over at Auburn University, and it's fun too because it's a different approach. They teach obviously all of it since it's world history, and a lot of teachers have been teaching it in terms of this is how we look at connections, how the different groups of people in the world have connected together, how some of them have obviously come into other areas and have influenced different groups of people, and so on and so forth. So I like that approach too. I'm glad I get to do both. Teaching and tutoring, I think, makes me better overall, if for no other reason than I do both. I hit it from both sides, and I get that knowledge on all of those ends, and I think it makes me a better teacher, better tutor, better everything, really, for all of that coverage. All right, fourth and final, well, actually, fourth and fifth came from the same person, of the personal question comes from actually a guy who found me through Nintendo Capri Sun's streams because I watch NCS's streams. I try to get to as many of them as I can, and he actually found me over there and came over here to ask these questions. That is Silent Senior 09. And the first of his questions is, what is your favorite food to chow down on? Well, I've got a few. I would say, I guess above and beyond anything else, my favorite food is probably pretty much anything chocolate. Ugh, doesn't do well for my waistline, but whoops. So yeah, chocolate. I think I kind of lean more toward dark chocolate than milk chocolate. Then they're both good, but I don't know, for whatever reason, my tastes lean a little bit more in that direction. I also enjoy chicken a lot. In fact, I have been known to go to steak places and eat chicken. I know, yeah, it's probably the sort of person you go, you doofus. But yes, I am that person sometimes. Occasionally, I've been known to try stuff, try new stuff. I'm not all that great in terms of trying new stuff unless I'm really in the mood for it, I suppose. A couple of others, I suppose. Obviously, pizza, hamburgers, usual American favorites, I guess. And also sushi. I really like sushi, but sushi is really expensive, so I can't eat it that often. Or, well, good sushi is really expensive. Cheap sushi is cheap and is cheap, and yeah, no, thank you. He also asked another question. What is the hardest challenge of all the challenges you've had in your life? What's the hardest one that you've overcome? I have been blessed, I think. I've not really been overly challenged by a lot of stuff, but I would say the biggest, let me think. I guess to some degree you kind of have to link the biggest challenges in my life together because to some degree they are all linked together. And that is, first off, something you guys don't know about me and something that doesn't really play a huge role in my life overall, but it is a little impactful, is I am centrally blind in my right eye. If I were, for instance, if I close my eyes now, sitting there looking at the camera, I cannot see the middle of it because I don't have that central vision. I lost it as a result of a retinal detachment, which sounds more painful than it is. Because of that, actually, that inspired me to start exercising more and to begin watching my weight, which that's really the challenge is my weight. I sort of saw the writing on the wall when I had a bunch of doctor's visits about it, and thus I decided to start exercising more and doing more in terms of better diet, walking, running, things like that. That is probably the biggest challenge because sometimes I really feel like trying to lose weight and trying to get in better shape, and sometimes I just don't. I don't know why. It just happens that way. So that is the biggest challenge, I guess. It's a consistent challenge, and it's probably going to be a challenge all my life because as a gamer, and just as I guess to some degree my genetics, I'm a little more well, in my career too. I'm a bit more of a sedentary person than I am necessarily active. I don't do construction or anything like that. That means that you have to move all the time. So it's a little tougher in terms of trying to manage weight and especially trying to manage my diet. I have been getting better about it, certainly since I started this whole thing a few years ago in terms of the weight loss. I mean, I still got some things to work on because I mentioned my favorite foods were mostly not of the healthy variety, although I like several healthy foods too. I tend to gravitate more toward foods that aren't, so it's a challenge. But it's a challenge I've done fairly decently at. I need to get better, obviously, but I've done okay, so I don't know. We'll see. It's a lifelong thing, and hopefully it will be a good long life and a good healthy one. Okay, so that wraps up the personal questions, and now let us go on to the gaming and Let's Play questions of this segment. Alright, so for gaming questions, first off, I actually am going to go back to Silent Senior 09 because he asks a question that I kind of want to start off with all of this, and that is, what inspired you to begin Let's Playing? Well, trying to think the best way to phrase this question and not go into too much length, I guess. Well, I guess a couple of years ago or so, I started wanting to be more creative, to not just play games and not just watch TV or whatever, but I wanted to create too. I wanted to be able to actually give back, I guess, instead of just going no, 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 no all the time. So I figured video games, or at least something involving video games, would probably be a pretty good way to do that, just because it's in my wheelhouse anyway. I had been watching, oh, I'm trying to think of who I was watching at that point in time, because I just started a couple of years ago, so I just started watching Let's Plays as anything. And a couple of folks I was watching was Navy Boy 5499 and Kenshin 1913, I believe. I'm not sure if either of them are still active, actually. But I watched some of their older Let's Plays. One of them was a Persona 3. I forget which one of them was doing that. But that, I guess I looked into that and I kind of thought, well, I think I could do that myself. So I did some research. I went to various websites that talked about Let's Playing and showed me what I needed to do in order to Let's Play. So I actually had a headset already. So I got software, I got, I think Windows Movie Maker was already on my computer, so I used it. And that was the way that I first started doing Let's Plays. Of course, from there on, I expanded, got Audacity, ended up eventually getting Fraps, which is what I record with now, and so on. A better mic and all that. But that ultimately is what inspired me to start Let's Playing. I wanted to be more creative, and I wanted to be more creative in a medium that I was actually familiar with, which I guess I'm a halfway decent writer. I'm not an artist, my God, no. So I figured gaming, Let's Playing, as it turns out to be, would be the best way to do that. And I think, I don't know, it has actually inspired me to be more creative in terms of, especially the art assets that I make for the games. The wanted posters I did for Wild Arms, for instance, or the stuff that I've done for Tales of the Abyss with the search point viewings or doing background stuff, making the buttons in GIMP and all that sort of thing, the art assets that I use. That has helped me in that. I think doing Let's Playing has helped me be better in terms of my speaking and commentary because the teaching in some ways and the Let's Playing on the other to some degree reinforce each other. And I have found that interesting. I think it's been good for me in regards to that. Excuse me. Okay, so hopefully that's a good enough answer, Silent Senior. If you want a little bit more, just ask and I'll see about expounding on it. Second question from Raxby, who is another one of my Let's Play Sanctuary folks. And he asks, what is my favorite non-RPG game? And oh, I have been trying to come up with a good answer to this for about a week. So very challenging question. You guys who have come to watch me, whether in the streams or in Let's Plays, probably have a pretty good idea that RPGs are my favorite genre by far. So that's mostly what I play. Now, non-RPG stuff, I would probably have to say it's a bit of a tie between Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World, which I streamed the latter. I may stream the former at some point, I don't know. But those are probably my two favorite non-RPG games. Honestly, It's a tough question because I don't play a lot of games that aren't RPGs, and haven't played a lot of games that aren't RPGs all that much. Well, I mean, even some of the stuff I'm playing now, like Warriors Orochi, which is not technically an RPG, has it kind of has RPG elements in it, I guess. I mean, that's fun too. A good old beat 'em up. If you want, I've played a couple of fighting games too. I guess if you want to go with that, my favorite fighting games might be in the Mortal Kombat series. I don't play them very often. I'm not very good at them, so there's that. If you want to go sports, my favorite sports games are probably college football games, mostly because I'm in Auburn. College football is kind of nuts around here, just a smidge. And so I like the college football. NFL's okay, but I prefer sort of the college football ambiance more, I guess. Of course, with the Ed O'Bannon lawsuit and the NCAA losing it, well, EA basically stopped making college football games because they didn't want to have to pay the athletes a whole bunch of money. Woohoo! So, yeah, so no more college football games for me, I guess. Okay, let's see. Next up, Rochambeau89 asks, what are my three favorite consoles? Okay, PS2's first. Really, all of them are good because, for the most part, because of the RPGs, but really the PS2 is a very good console just all around. Not just RPGs, but the flexibility that you start seeing from the console really at that point, I think is, you really see to me a very exponential leap in the flexibility of what games you could play from PS1 to PS2. PS2 to 3 and 3 to 4 I think have been a little less incremental in a sense because what you're seeing more now is not so much flexibility of games as better graphics, better mechanics, which obviously are good, but I think you saw a lot more in terms of viable genres on the PS2 than you did anything else or previous consoles. Granted, there are good games on previous consoles, don't get me wrong, but I think you see a lot more flexibility of experience on the PS2 from PS1 than you do from any other console jump. Second console, as far as favorites, is probably going to be SNES because that is. I mean, I first started playing RPGs with the original Final Fantasy, but I really got into RPGs with Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VI. Let's see. Let me think of some others here. Robotrek, which is more of a kids game, I guess, but it's still got its fun. Chrono Trigger obviously is SNES. All of those really, Super Mario RPG. I'll probably think of others off camera, but that really kind of awakened my love for role playing games and to really pour a lot of time and a lot of myself into those games, which I don't think really any other genre can match. Third console is probably going to change by the end of the year, honestly. Right now, that third console is my Xbox 360, which sadly is broke. It can't work anymore. The disc tray won't open anymore. But Xbox 360, I think, had a lot of good games too. The three that really come to mind right offhand, Skyrim, which is one of those eternal experience type games. Hoy. Lost Odyssey is fantastic. I believe, let's see. I think it was actually Greeny XI who recently did a playthrough of Lost Odyssey. Well, a little early to be doing shout outs, but there you go. But Lost Odyssey is a fantastic JRPG. It is, in many ways, I think, really and it was actually made by Mistwalker, which was Sakaguchi's company after he stepped away from Squaresoft and Square Enix. So it very much runs a lot in terms of a Final Fantasy vein, and it's fantastic. Another RPG that I really like on the 360 is Eternal Sonata, which is a JRPG, but it's a little different in some of its mechanics and such. It is also a little different because it kind of melds real history a little bit with fantasy history a lot more. And if you look into it, you'll understand what I mean. It's a good game as well. Probably by the end of the year, though, if the games that are supposed to come out this year do come out this year, I think the PS4 is probably going to eclipse it. Because, for one, we've got Final Fantasy 15 coming out. You've also got Persona 5 that is on the way, and you've also got Kingdom Hearts 3. that was the trinity that really, I guess, inspired me or made me want to go out and get a PS4, which obviously none of those have come out yet. Meh. But I still found some good games on it nonetheless. And I think with those three coming out in the next year or so, it's going to just make the experience just utterly fantastic. Not to mention, Final Fantasy VII Remake's coming out on PS4 as well. Not even sure when, but that'll be good too. Okay, well, spent a lot longer on that question than I thought I would. Okay, fourth question from KPA is, do you find it being strange being both a teacher and a YouTuber at the same time? And absolutely not. I don't see any reason why that would be strange at all. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I think to some degree, being a teacher and being a YouTuber sort of reinforce each other because obviously teaching as public speaking is presenting yourself before an audience in a different fashion to some degree. I am much more, well, I say pedantic, maybe not the right word, but I'm much more in terms of informative and straight out, hey, these are the facts, go get them in my history classes than perhaps I am a little bit so in my Let's Playing and streaming. Let's Playing and streaming, I tend to be a little more goofy. Just because it's a lot of fun and I like having a lot of fun with you guys. History teaching is fun too, don't get me wrong, I love it. It is my passion in life. But you can't be as goofy as a history teacher and keep your job as you can be as a Let's Player and sort of get away with that. I don't find it really strange. I find that it is to some degree reinforced itself or reinforced each other and helped each other in a way. What I have tried to do as a Let's Player is bring some of that history teacheriness, I guess, into Let's Playing. Sort of trying to be more informative, especially when it comes to how some things coincide with history as such. And I think Final Fantasy Tactics is going to be really fun for that. Because with Tactics, you get much more of a feel of real history that, hey, this is the sort of thing that could happen in a medieval kind of Final Fantasy type world with the War of the Lions, with the different civil factions in that, and us trying to carve our way through all that chaos. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I don't find it strange at all. And then finally, on the questions here, comes from Effie Zelda Lord 12345, who has been probably one of my closest followers as far as he has been to almost all the streams. He has commented on a lot of my videos, and I've tried to return the favor. And he has helped me out a lot, especially him and Christoph and a number of the others helping me out when we were going through Suikoden 2 together. And Fez asks the question, have you enjoyed streaming or Let's Playing more? This is another question I've had to think about for a week, and I'm not sure I really have an answer after a week because, well, I really like both of them for different, well, not really different reasons, but for slightly different reasons. I really enjoy Let's Playing because I like going through a game, and especially when it comes to the more informative aspects of it, being able to inform you guys as far as the mechanics of a game or going through a game well, and being able to maximize how good you are at it and how well you do in it. I also like to Let's Play also because it allows for a more mutual experience pretty much at a time of your choosing. I know streaming's getting a bit better at that too, but you can go through and watch the videos. They'll be archived. You can go back and re-experience those memories if you wish. I've had some people telling me that they're going through other of my series, which is great. So you can go back and relive those experiences pretty much whenever you want. Streaming is a little bit different in that you can't go back and re-experience those whenever you want because Twitch takes them down. But streaming, in some sense, has also been a lot of fun because I get to experience y'all's feedback right out of the gate. And also, I mean, if the stream to end Breath of Fire 4 was any example, oh God, let's see, what all did we talk about on that? We went over Let's Plays and Let's Players. We talked about, oh Lord, let's see. We talked about movies. We talked about music a little bit. We talked about all sorts of stuff. Folks were making a bunch of puns in my stream, and I was getting onto them. They get to go grade all my papers now. So it was a blast. And also with streaming, especially in streaming games blind, which I have come to really enjoy for whatever twisted reason, I guess. I can have the community actually come in and thwack me upside the head and go, "Hey, you doofus! You need to do this or that better." In fact, they were actually doing that while I was fighting the final boss in Breath of Fire 4, not thwacking me upside the head, but saying, "Hey, you could do this, make things go a little bit better." And it's stuff that even 50 hours into the game, I was still learning about the game. So that is good as well. So really, it's a push. I don't have a firm answer one way or the other, and I know that's kind of a cheap way out, but that's the most honest answer I have for that. All right, so that pretty much wraps up the questions. The final video of this set is going to be a video where I do my shout outs for you guys. So I want to get a little bit more in terms of, like I said, I want to get more information together, get everybody listed as far as what they're doing so that I can say, hey, this is what they're doing. So thank you guys for tuning in to the personal questions and the gameplay questions. I hope you guys will stick around. I'm at 103 subscribers now, so hopefully we can reach 200 a good bit faster and with lots of fun as well. And then you guys obviously can send me more questions and I can answer more questions and so on. Of course, thank you guys for being with me, for supporting me in all of this. I really appreciate it. I know I say it a bunch, probably beating a dead horse a little bit, but I just want you guys to know that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to go out of town now because I'm actually about to leave my apartment and go home for spring break. So, wee! I will be posting, well, by the time this goes up, I'll probably already be posting them, but I'm going to be posting Breath of Fire videos throughout the week because I'm not really going to be in a position to record. But when I come back, I will be recording some more Tales of the Abyss, and so we can get back on that gravy train. But of course, thank you guys for watching, whether it's the streams or the Let's Plays and such, and I will see y'all later.